edition of Between the Posts. Tommy Javor, joined by Lachie. Another big week in footy.
Oh, it always is a big week in the Adelaide Footy League.
Yeah, tremendous results around all over the place that blew my mind. It was sufficiently blong, 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 blong. And we are here at the House of Haynes, which is at the Gully Hotel for our last week at the Gully this week, and a beautiful venue for weddings, parties, anything, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking about giving a call to the boss and getting a corporate function up here.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Johnny Douglas, get us in here. Of course, mate, we don't exist with all our great sponsors, and we've rehearsed this. Let's start with e-bikes by High Five, the Kimberley Resort Customs by ORTC, and of course the Gully, and all our other hotels that we'll be appearing at soon. So many other great sponsors. What's on today's show, Lot?
Yeah, so much excitement. Of course, we've got the Division 1 report, we've got Beck's Division 1 wrap as well, and of course Jad Gosson coming in.
We sure do, doing Div 7. I'll be joining Jad. Of course, the Farmers League Coach of the Week will be from Division 7, a coach that has turned his club around. What caught our eye? The goals and marks of the week, and of course the final word. And we've got some milestones and marriages this week. Our first marriage on the show.
Yeah, congratulations to the happy couple.
Yes, no, fantastic. And I hear Darcy and Bailey might be getting close, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, the panic behind the camera.
Oh, he just ran off.
Oh, fantastic stuff. Hey, we're back with all that and so much more on this week's edition of Between the Posts. It's Division 1 wrap time with Tommy Javor and Lachie Gould, the BTR Excavations Division 1 wrap for Breakthrough Mental Health Round. Where were you this week, boy genius?
Well, I was out at the Prince Alfred versus Spock game, Sir Tommy, and it was absolutely a brilliant game of football.
Oh, we've got little pet nicknames for each other now. That's wonderful. All right, it was, again, Spocker for real. Spock 12-10-82, PAC 4-10-34, an 8-goal win there to the Spockos. The star of the show was number 45, Lachie de Cesare. Just quickly, goal kickers, a couple of multiples in Garrels and Hugo Kelly for the Red Men, but for Spock, a really nice spread again. McKinnon, de Cesare, Reid, Carruthers, Bedford, all kicking two. Take us through the match flow, mate, where the game was won and lost.
Yes, it was won in the first and the third quarter, and by three-quarter time, it was sort of close, but they just about ran away with it. Yeah, de Cesare had an absolutely brilliant game, as did Edward Weeks. He features in the votes as well, and Ned McHenry stood up for the losers as well. But the game won and lost, a 19-point lead at quarter time there for Spock, so they got the early jump, and then half-time, Prince Alfred fought back in the second quarter. The second quarter was very much, had a tinge of red about it, and then after that, just about Spock ran out, and were pretty comfortable winners in the end.
Yeah, 5 goals to 1 goal 3 in that final quarter, just stamping their authority. 48-point win. I'll tell you what, they have announced themselves. When I look at Spock's holistically for the season, let's not forget they were 31 points up against Port District, losing on the last kick of the day, or it'd be the perfect season. Mike O'Leary making every post a winner, and just checking in as well, just a bit of a temperature check on you. Not running that hot, PAC making the grand final. We're still all over that, are we?
Next question, please.
Okay, good. Hey, young men often go early, and Lachie has certainly in that space there. Let's have a look at some of these wonderful award winners. The Mosey Voucher Best Team Player was Captain Ed Allen. Take us through the Bianco magic moment. Johnny Reid, what's this one all about?
Yeah, so we called it the sealer in the commentary box, me and young Alex Coots, and I tell you what, he snapped it, he almost kind of check-sided it from the boundary line, came back, kept spinning, and it was just the moment he kicked it, you knew it was straight through. We were very lucky, the broadcast van right in front of it, down in that final pocket. And yeah, it was right in front of me with a Bianco magic moment.
Tell me this. Young Alex Cooter fighter Feedy's AK-47. Was he the one on the call when he kicked the goal?
No, actually, I think it was me.
Oh, no, I wanted to see him get the excitement up to the threshold of pain. Magical indeed. And of course, the Belgravia, New Balance, Dartfish Beanie, all the prizes for best on ground. Did you get some Archie thongs as well?
Did I get some?
No, not you. You did.
Yes, he did, yes.
It was, of course, Lachie de Cesare. So, let's have a look at those votes. We have sort of preview already. Ned McHenry with one from PAC, whilst Weeks and de Cesare rounding it out for the winners. A huge win for Spock, and I haven't seen them firsthand. I'll get to see them in a couple of weeks, but they just feel like they're the whole package now. Next up, it's Glenunga and Sacred Heart. And Glenunga, after 10 straight goals last week, 10-11-73, Sacred Heart 16-7-103. 3 losses on the trot at Webb Oval on the back of a great game from Harrison Boyle for Sacred Heart. Look, to be honest, we both tipped it, so it probably went the way we thought it would.
Yeah, Tommy, Shock was super impressive. Glenunga in struggle street at the minute. Did they start to look behind them instead of ahead of them now?
Very interesting question. I've never had it put to me like that before. Bit of, they're coming. I think they should, because Broadview aren't playing that bad, neither are Payneham, and at the moment they're struggling for a win. I guess in patches of games where they still look really, really good. Up by 9 points at quarter time, but 5-3 to 2-1 in the second quarter by Sacred Heart just stamped the authority and got the job done. Let's just have a quick look at the goal kickers for Glenunga. Hugh DeCero, good to see him kicking a few, and Sam Parsons, the return of the Snips. That's a big in for Glenunga, kicking 3. Whilst for Sacred Heart, Ben Moroney, McAuliffe, Louis Benuto, and Oscar Lovelock, son of Paula, kicking 2 each. And interesting to note, Hunter Winto didn't play. Had a birthday during the week, and but I tell you what, he's told me he's excited. That high 5 e-bike, he wants to get on it. He wants to get on it and ride it. So hopefully he can keep polling those votes. Better players in, mate, that didn't appear in the votes. The Bone Crusher McRae, fantastic. And Luke Dewhurst, little left footer there, crafty, creative, doing very well. For the Rams, DeCiro, who I've already mentioned, Brooks, Opperman, and captain Nick Egar, the best looking man in Division 1, also rounding out best players. But the votes, please.
Yeah, so the votes ended up going the way there of Boyle. He ended up with 3, Noble with 2, and it was Darcy Lewis with the 1 as well.
Yeah, big bad Bradley Noble, always very good, and previewed Darcy Lewis, just really coming into his own now in his early 20s, really starting to find his best football. All right, the next one was a game I was at, and what a game it was. A game for the ages. It was Ross Trevor, 12-8-80, Salisbury North, 11-11-77. A 3-point win there to the Rocks in an absolute thriller. The star of the show was Finn Wakeland, number 21. I've been talking him up all year, got to see firsthand 4 goals, went into ruck, and when the game was on the line, took the big Leo Barry mark. He was indeed the star of the show. Yeah, it's hard not to. Now, I got to sit on commentary with Phil Herden. Phil Herden, what an absolute star yesterday. Salisbury North, 38 points up, halfway through the third. The rain came. It's my fault. It's not your fault because you tipped us. My whole team, well, that'll make it tough for Rocks. Now it's raining, and it didn't. Ross Trevor, their football was irrepressible, and you've seen them play this year, haven't you?
Yeah, both teams play.
Ross Trevor, a very impressive unit.
Oh, they are. I think it all comes from that midfield. Transfer had an excellent game, and I think a lot of it's driven from him as well.
Yep. Fair to say as well, for the first time this year, I don't think Salisbury North won the rucks, but look, Salisbury North probably did enough to win, didn't quite get there, led by 10 points, 26, 16 at 3/4, to ultimately go down by 3. Actually had the final 3 attempts at goal on the game as well, couldn't quite find it, and the pressure, the game changed. Ross Trevor kicking 10 of the last 13 goals. The second time, and you watched them the first time, were you at the PAC Ross Trevor game?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, they were 20 points down in that game as well against PAC and came from behind.
Yeah, with about 10 minutes to go, so it was really impressive that day as well.
Yeah, kicking the last 4 goals of the game and got the chocolates. And I was on the losing side as the footy manager of Salisbury North, but at the end of the day, it's another day where I've gone to a game of footy and gone, oh my God, that was a bloody good game of footy. 2 great teams, and maybe 2 teams that play finals.
Yeah, I mean, it happens every year, kind of, the second teams get, the Div 2 teams, get a bit of a bounce. They come back and they just keep bouncing, and and it happens all the time in England. Like, you see clubs come up from the championship and do
momentum.
Momentum. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, and they just keeping on. And even though the level of footy is higher, both clubs were pretty strong to us in the pre-season and said we're going to be right in the hunt, and so far it's been the case.
Yeah, again, and you mentioned Tranford. His ability to curtail the midfield influence of Salisbury North. He had an 8 to 10 minute patch where he won 4 or 5 clearances, but they resulted in goals. They kicked 3 quick goals, and the lead just sort of went, vip, vip, vip. And all of a sudden it got within distance where it was like, hey, we can win this, and to their credit, they did. Goal kickers, Wakeland 4, Boxer 3, Lanzoni in the long sleeve, the skipper with 2, Tucky Tuck Tuck kick 4 for the Hawks, and Dickie Richards with 3 in a great game. Again, I love footy. I love watching this game of footy, even though I was on the wrong side. So spoke very briefly to their coach after the game, Bootsy, and he was really rapt with the boys' effort. So better players not in the votes. Butterworth in ruck was fantastic. Swanbury, Boxer, and A man that doesn't appear in the best players, I don't know if this is Ducks or Drakes, I'm going to let you see that. James Wharton, number 18 for Ross Trevor. Can that kid go? Oh my God, he tore us to pieces in the midfield at times. His ability to work through a stoppage is elite.
Yeah, it really is. Him, and again, Tramford does get some assistance in there, and Wharton's one of the players that gives it to him.
Yeah, and Tramford very much wins the inside ball, and then Wharton takes it out, and we identified it. We couldn't stop it. So, and I say we. I was there, Sean.
Well, I mean, identification is one half of the battle.
Well done for identifying it. Who's top of the identification table? We are. Better players to Salisbury North. I thought Cal Hay was absolutely outstanding. Dickie Richard Tuck. And he never puts himself in the votes because it's just the kind of guy he is. But Luke Harble had a very strong game. But the votes, please, Lachie.
Yeah, so 3 to Wakeland, as you mentioned, absolutely superb yesterday. 2 to Tramford, and 1 to Joey Brown. I like the way he goes about it with those long socks.
Yeah, Joey Brown, former Central player, he was excellent. Four-quarter effort. And just a little bit about these two teams as well. Really interesting. Rocks have lost one game by a point, 2 chances to win that game. Salisbury North had now combined losing total of their 2 games with 7 points. They've lost by 4 and 3, and probably the one that got away on the weekend. But you live and you learn, and this is the beauty of Div 1. I love how, forget about this game, in every game, you just see these Div 1 teams find momentum and belief. And they kick 4 goals in a row and the game changes. It's such a good competition. Speaking of momentum, it happened a lot in this game. I actually went home and watched this game. Golden Grove 16-14, 110. Broadview 12-10, 82. It was the Kookaburras getting just their second win of the season, a much needed one at Harpersfield. Their best player, or not best player according to the commentary team nominated, winning the Archies, was number 17, Mitch McKelvey. Have you had a chance to look at either of these two teams yet this year?
So Golden Grove we saw way back in round 1. I have not been to Broadview yet.
Yep, so I've seen Golden Grove once as well, and watched the Broadview game last night. Look, they led all day, 16, 22, 28 and 28, but that's not how the game actually panned out. Broadview hit the lead in the second quarter. Big Gus Ralph with 5 goals, the big fella coming up, playing his first game in 2024. Coming up from the B grade, that's a great effort, isn't it? Kick 5.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's an all right debut.
And for Golden Grove, it was Pascoe Banwell with his brother commentating, where he's going to have a head wobble at the house tonight a couple of times. I enjoyed that. Verity and McKelvey with a brace all each. But Golden Grove, one of the things that would please Coach Luke Barbie, 10 goal kickers, so they've got a really good spread of footballers, that club still.
Yeah, they do. That's super important for them.
Yep. Better players for Broadies, as mentioned, Ralph Langley, Wilson and O'Leary. For Golden Grove, Xanthopoulos, Horskins and Giles were all very good. But the votes, please, Lachie Gould.
Yeah, so 1 to Carlin. PJ Carlin doing some bits after he crossed over from North Adelaide. Pittman ended up with 2. Pittman doing what Pittman does. And 3, McKelvey.
Yeah, probably one other name I haven't mentioned there, I'm not sure why, is Josh Glenn. I thought Josh Glenn was outstanding and really does a lot of the link work. Once it's transition time, you see Josh Glenn get involved. He rarely wastes the ball on a day where there was a fair bit of turnover, so played a very good game. All right, and our last game was actually a lot closer than what probably a lot of people thought. It was PNU at the Falconry, 10-5-65, Port District 10-14-74. Your good mate, your twin almost, Scotty Lysette, number 24, best on ground for Port District. And I guess I'll ask you the same question. Have you had a look at both of these teams so far this year?
I don't think I have seen Port District and I've seen Panam Norwood Union a couple of times.
Yep. Port District, look, all the goods, just the notes from the commentators, very professional. They got an early buffer of about 3 goals in the first quarter. They were able to pretty much hold that all day, although Panam did hit the front very briefly. But if you look at the quarter-by-quarter scores, like 10, 5, 8 and 9, PNU battled it out, and again, maybe just turning the corner and starting to find some of that 2024 form.
Yeah, Panam Norwood Union, I think at times their game style does kind of hold up a little bit. So it's only for 4 or 5 minutes a game though, and they do need to get it better than what it is currently. But I mean, obviously, I think their time will come. I do think they will win a game shortly.
Yes, they will. They've got a pretty tough draw, but they're improving each week. 9 points to the Premiers, no shame in that at all. Goal kickers for PNU, it was Viney, Rahui and Morris with 2, while Support District, Sam McKay and Harry Dwyer with a couple each. Some of those better players that didn't make the votes for PNU, Kelly, Tentacles, Tom Wagner and Grant Catalano, while Support District, Liam Mottistacks, Dwyer, Niskahus, mispronounced in commentary yesterday, seems Jad's looking at me, and he does normally let me know. Well done, Nisco. Actually stepped up as captain, so the captain wasn't playing Louis Sharrett, so always good to have a win as captain. And not Cooper Gaffney, but Jack Gaffney in the best, mate.
You sure Cooper wasn't there?
No, he's probably pretty good. Give us the votes, please, mate.
Yeah, so 1, Matty Nunn, 2, Joey Haynes, and 3, Scott Lysett.
High five e-bike player of the year time. Now we're going to do it a little bit differently. 5 rounds in, rather than just tell you who's doing it and put pressure on our commentators, we're going to give you 8 guys who are right near the top of the table, and it's close this year, and it's not Abe Davis. He's nowhere near it yet. Let's talk about these 8 players. Give us a name. Let's talk about it, Lachie.
All right, I'm going to go with Noble.
He is up there. The big fella from Sacred Heart. Really good early season form.
Wakeland.
Oh, Wakeland, one of my favourites, despite tearing us a new one on the weekend. Finn Wakeland is a star. Should be in the sample.
Window.
Hunter Window from the factory, mate. Didn't play on the weekend, young fella, Glenelg Premiership player. I expect him to be right up there when the whip's cracking.
A man from your club, Wagner.
Yeah, Jake Wagner, son of Dave and Laura. He's been very, very good, has polled on 2 occasions and playing some really good footy.
Transfer.
Xavier Tramfer, the big-bodied midfielder in and under, changed the game yesterday and has polled a couple of times at least. And you got to watch him when you play Ross Trevor.
Absolutely, you do. Carruthers.
Mal Carruthers. Not sure on how we pronounce his first name. So we're saying Mal Carruthers. He is a star. Team of the year last year, and Spock looked a lot better having him full time.
Schmidt.
Will Schmidt, the big fella from PAC. You thought he'd be wearing a premiership medal this year with Carney intercept, Carney mark. And when he's up and about, PAC are very dangerous.
And the last of our 8, Pittman.
Yes, well, Pittman wakes up, he gets a vote. He's a real good footballer. The pig dog from Golden Grove. Watched him yesterday. He was outstanding. All of those 8 within striking distance. They could all be riding the high five.
E-bike.
Love it. And let's have a look at that ladder, Lachie. Sitting pretty on top, Sacred Heart 5-0. 3 teams on 4-1. Port District, Spock and Rocks. Of course, Spock with 6% on the rocks. It's very, very handy. Salisbury North 3-2. But interestingly enough, not just a game, but 8% clear of Golden Grove 2-3. PAC 2-3. Glenunga 1-4. And then PNU and Broadies yet to trouble the scorers. Your take on the ladder, mate?
Yeah, PNU Broadies got to get a head start pretty quickly. Glenunga now will be starting to look a little bit behind them as well, and that one win separating them. But right at the top, Shock and Port, they're my favourites for the flag at the minute.
You've had 7 favourites.
Yeah, everyone can win it.
Yeah, look, for me, I think any of the top 6 is still a chance, but would certainly think they're a chance, and probably any of the top 8 realistically think they're a chance, but any of the top 6 for mine have all shown me plenty. Again, looking at that ladder, it's really interesting when you look at the reading of Port, Spock and Rocks. I mean, Spock, as we said, lost a game. They're up by 31 points. Rock lost a game by a point. Salisbury North's combined margin 7 points. Everyone in the top 5 is playing good, consistent footy.
Yeah, I agreed. It's gonna be a real tight tussle towards the end of the year.
All right, I'm not sure what game of the round will be for the stream team, and we do have to share it around with the teams, but on paper, the game of the round, 3rd versus 4th, another Intercol Classic, Spock and the Rocks, coming off a late goal win for Ross Trevor. Spock's obviously got an 8-goal win. Who's your tip?
I think Spock will win that game. I think it'll go close. I think Rocks may be on the losing side of a close game this time.
Yeah, Spock just generating too many chances going forward. I think they'll get the chocolates for mine. Broadies looking for their first win at home, taking on Salisbury North.
Yeah, I reckon Salisbury North will get the win there. Boy Genius is going to tip you again.
Jimmy Neutron, every time you tip us, we lose. Look, Salisbury North are sitting 5th and Broadies at bottom, so logic says Salisbury North should get the chocks. Our next one is 6th place Golden Grove taking on 9th place Payneham. Tip, please, Lachie.
Yeah, I think Golden Grove will get the win there, although Payneham Norwood Union desperately need it, and sometimes desperation can win out, thank you.
It certainly can. Now, last time you and I were at Golden Grove, we all tipped Golden Grove against Payneham. It was the elimination final, and what happened?
Yeah, Payneham got the win, and stranger things happen.
Yeah, they play well against Golden Grove for some reason. I'll still stick with Golden Grove. Top place Sacred Heart taking on your previous grand final fancy PAC, who you seem to have gone a bit cold on.
Well, I haven't gone cold on them, they've gone cold on the wins. So that's not my fault there, but Shock should get the win there.
Our last one is Port District at Glenunga. Where are they playing, mate?
Yeah, they're playing at Country Homes Living Reserve.
What the hell is that?
That's at Lark Bay.
New sponsor, obviously, and well done. It's great to have those naming right sponsors. Doesn't matter what you call the oval, Port District will win.
Yeah, I think Port District will get the win there. Although Glenunga, they'll be angry from last year's grand final and they desperately need to win too.
Oh boy, do they need to win. It's been the Division 1 report with Tommy Javor and the boy genius Lachie Gould. We'll be back with more next week.
belong in a role that drives you? In a community that makes you proud? In a team that brings out your best? You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
Well, it's women's footy time and we are back at the Gully in this beautiful function space to go through all that went on in round 5. Now, this is of course for the BTR Excavations Division 1 competition, and let me tell you, it was all happening. I'm going to take you through it. Of course, we have to thank Custom by ORTC for making me look good while doing it. Now, when I say this was a close round of footy, I mean it. And we're going to start with Broadview and Happy Valley, who played each other over at Broadview. And only 2 points separated these teams. Who took the win? Well, it was Happy Valley 3-4-22 over Broadview 2-8-20. And the 2 points, that featured all day. Broadview were up by 2 points at quarter time, half time, and 3/4 time. And this was just an absolutely tight contest with goals, where goals were hard to come by. As I said, just 2 points featuring everywhere, but Happy Valley getting it done in the end. And it was all about the last quarter, and accuracy absolutely won out. Happy Valley scored 1 goal 1 in the last term to 0 goals 3 for Broadview. Happy Valley absolutely snatched the win to take themselves back into second on the ladder. And unfortunately for Broadview, probably a little bit of inaccuracy has just cost them this time. And just what an absolutely epic clash. You know, it was physical, just two teams trying to grind out the win. And it shows just how close this division is. Broadview sit only on 1 win for the season, but were 2 points away from the second-ranked team in Happy Valley. So it's just so close. We know that any team really can win on their day in Division 1. And it's just so competitive. You cannot afford to be off even for a quarter, even for a second in this division. You have to be on at all times. Broadview, well, we've got to have a shout out to Taylor Gordon, who was the best on for the Tigers on the day. And on the Happy Valley side, it was a great game for Patricia Cowpert. I actually already cannot wait until round 12 when these two teams go at it again. They're so well matched up, and I think, Broadview will just be thinking that was maybe the one that got away, but Happy Valley happy to get that nice and close win. And if you thought that one was close, well, we had another 2-point game. No, seriously, another game decided by 2 points, this time at Shark Park. Can you believe it? Now, you know I was hyping up this game all of last week, and for good reason. Now, this was, of course, the game between the Henley Sharks and Morphettville Park. What was the result? Well, it was Morphettville Park with an amazing come-from-behind win, pulled off an absolute robbery at Shark Park. Morphettville Park 6-8-44 to Henley 6-6-42. Now, Beck, why is this a robbery? Let's go through it. The Sharks, they were up by 6 at quarter time, 18 at half time, and 16 at 3/4 time. And it looked like probably Henley had this one stitched up. But oh my goodness, Morphettville Park with a 4-goal last term, and they just took this one away. They over doubled their score in the last quarter to snatch an iconic victory. Honestly, I'm in shock. What a game. And the Roos, they were led by a best-on-ground performance by Gianna Jay-Z Zarella. Great game, and she's having a great season. Also a great game by Brooklyn Craft, who kicked 2 goals. Now, Demi Bates led the way for the Henley Sharks and was best on. She also scored one of their majors as well. And the Sharks, well, they're probably agonising over that last quarter. Again, another team who think that was the one that got away. But we have to say, full credit to Morphettville Park. They have that never say die attitude, and that's a win to remember. I'm sure that they celebrated pretty well last night, because absolute comeback, last quarter specialist, well done to the Roos. Now, it wasn't 2 points, but there was another close game that featured at Harper's Field, where Golden Grove hosted the Goodwood Saints. And it was the Saints who got themselves back on the winners list for the first time since round 1. Now, they got home by 9 points in a bit of a low-scoring affair. Goodwood 2-6-18 defeated Golden Grove 1-3-9. Now, the sides were even at quarter time on 7 points apiece. Goodwood led by 8 at halftime, and both teams actually did not kick a goal after halftime, with Golden Grove only adding 2 points and the Saints 3 points. It would have been a huge day to be a defender. I can imagine the ball just coming in at each end. Defenders would have been working really hard. So absolute lockdown at both ends of the ground, because as we can see, the scores were so hard to come by. Demi Sonneman for Golden Grove, well, she kicked their only goal, while Maddie Coop was their best performer. Goodwood's goals came via Corey Webb and Emma White, and Raf Lombardzi was their best on. Now, I'm sure both sides will be resting some sore bodies from what would have been a tough encounter. I know these sides both go hard at it, and as we can see, low scoring, it would have been a lot of stoppages, just a lot of intense ball in there. And whilst Goodwood, they were inaccurate, I think they'll just be relieved to get their second win. And can they, reset their season and build from here? I've said it time and time again, they've got plenty of talent in their side. They just need to get it together and get those wins on the board. Golden Grove, they're still searching for their first win for the season, but it's so clear that they're really competitive and can take it up to teams in this division. So surely there is a win to come for Golden Grove. Now, for our last game of the round, it was Payneham and Hectorville facing off. And well, Payneham, their undefeated train, it just rolls on with a 26-point win, 9-10-64 to 6-2-38. Whilst they were a little bit inaccurate, Hectorville, well, they just weren't quite able to match it on the scoreboard with the reigning premiers. Hectorville only trailed by 2 points in the first break, but Payneham broke away after that, kicking into gear, and they just didn't look back. They put on multiple goals in every quarter with a really solid performance, and we just know that that's the way that Payneham do things. And no surprises, Letitia Ackland led the way on the scoreboard with 3 goals. Abby Claby and Zoe Proud also scored 2 each, with Alice Tentai and Chloe Samuel also kicking goals. Amy Gadecki was their best. For Heckies, Taylor Roberts kicked 2, as did Ella Lineage, and Grace Mulverhill and Laya Soy also kicked singles. Now, their best was Zena Hunt. Now, although Hectorville didn't get the win, there's still some positives for them. They didn't get absolutely blown away. They took it up to Payneham with that first quarter, and they're absolutely up there with one of the top sides in the competition. And they had great scoring efficiency. I think they would have learned a lot from this coming up against a really strong Payneham side, and that can only help them in the coming weeks. And for Payneham, well, they just carry on their merry way as they do, as I said, undefeated, yet to drop a game. They might be a little bit worried about their inaccuracy, but a win on the board, that's a win. You get the points. That's all that counts at the moment. All right, so let's have a look at the ladder standings now in Division 1. Payneham, of course, is sitting comfortably on top with 5 and zip, and they've got a really healthy percentage as well. Happy Valley, they moved themselves up to second with that win. They probably just need a little bit of work on that percentage, because it may come into factors coming into finals and that kind of thing. Henley, they've gone down to third with that close loss, but they do have a really strong percentage. So they've got plenty of time to bounce back, get themselves back into that top 2. And Morphettville Park rounding out the top 4, sitting pretty healthy, and I think they are in some ripping form at the moment. Goodwood and Hectorville, they both sit on 2 wins and 3 losses, and the next few games for them, I think, are going to be make or break whether they can crack into that top 4 or not. So we will see what those teams give us in the coming weeks. Broadview still sitting on that 1 win in 7th spot, and Golden Grove on the bottom of the ladder. So a little bit of work to do for some of those teams in the middle of the road there. We'll see what happens. Now, looking at round 6, well, Goodwood and Broadview are going to play each other, and honestly, I'm calling this a must-win for both teams. Goodwood, if they want to be serious about making finals, they've got to win this game as well. But Broadview, I think they'll be wanting to get that win on the board as well. So I think that's going to be a big result to have a look at. Payneham and Henley is also going to be an awesome game. 1 versus 3. We know these teams match up against each other really well. So looking forward to that result as well. We've got Morphettville Park and Hectorville. I think they're also going to have a great battle. And then Happy Valley and Golden Grove. So much action to come in round 6. Now, of course, that's not it. We're going to have a look at a couple of other things happening in women's footy. Now, I will start with Division 4 and the Loretto Old Scholars team, and we have to give a massive shout out to Sarah Catterwell. She has celebrated 200 games. That is a huge milestone, and we love it. Now, she's played across a few clubs in her career, from Modbury, Melbourne Uni, Morphettville Park, and now at Losa, where she's hit her 200. That is an awesome achievement. Well done, Catters. And the Losa had a 57-point win as well. She scored a goal. What an awesome way to celebrate your 200 games. I love seeing women's footy players hit milestones like this because it takes so much work. So well done, Catters. And now we'll move across to Division 6, and you know it's my favourite, 9-goal haul. Yes, 9-goal haul alert, and it's at the Seaton Ramblers. Grace Griverson, go off Grace. She's absolutely killing it. We've also seen Chloe Forby kick a massive bag down there as well. So kicking practice at Seaton Ramblers is really paying off. They're doing so well. So that's just a couple of things we're seeing around the divisions. Of course, if you see anything you want me to mention on the show, let me know. But for now, that is all for women's footy this week. I'll see you next time.
It's time for the Farmers League Coach of the Week, and it comes from Division 7 this week. A huge congratulations to Daryl Cotter from the Elizabeth Eagles. A familiar name to the Eagles. He is, of course, a 2005 Premiership player. He'll be celebrating the 20th year this year with his old teammates. It's the turnaround that he's been able to create that's impressed us so much. Obviously, they were all the rage in the news for all the wrong reasons. 500-point loss last year, but currently sitting 5-0 on top. He and his team have a philosophy of strong, safe and inclusive for the football club. And as they approach their 70th year, the Elizabeth Eagles, they dare to dream of one of the greatest comebacks in football history. It'll be bigger than the Bad News Bears. Congratulations to Daryl Cotter. You're our Farmers League Coach of the Week. Welcome back to Between the Posts. It is Division 7 time with a Division 7 expert, Jad Gosson, who, interestingly enough, actually shaved this morning. So welcome, Jad.
Yeah, sometimes it is like that, to be honest, yes.
Mate, how good's Div 7?
Yeah, it's a good division. It's competitive. It's always fun out to look at the results every week. And some really interesting things to talk about this round.
Yeah, Darcy, our producer, got some graphics organised. So I'm just going to quickly give this week's results, Jad, and then we'll get you to unpack the minutiae. It was Central United by 101 over Smithfield. Mawson Lakes, oh so close, Moosey's men going down by 5 points to Hackham. Flinders Uni, no match for Mitchell Park. And Brahma Lodge didn't quite get the chocolates, had a crack, but against Elizabeth, making every post a winner, which probably means I should throw to you, mate, and I reckon you've got a really interesting ladder to look at.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll have a look at the ladder. Elizabeth on top, 5 and Zip, haven't lost yet. Second, Central United. Third, Brahma Lodge. Fourth, Hackham. And then there's a bit of a gap for the other four. So Mitchell Park, Mawson Lakes, Smithfield 7th, and 8th is Flinders Uni. But no team is winless, which is also a good sign for the division.
Yeah, it's fantastic. A couple of things on that one, Jad. Elizabeth, 83%, 19% in the game clear. It's as good as 2 games. So they have turned it around. And this is a club who you previewed in Div 6, where you were Div 6 expert still.
Yes. 500-point
losers last year. Now all of a sudden, they have turned the club around. Full credit to them.
Yeah, for sure. And some crazy stats as well I found. So they've scored a total of 790 points, which is a big amount, obviously. But the other one that's really big, they've conceded only 157 points within the first 5 games of the season. So an average of 31.4 average of conceding.
Yeah, and it's around about 130-point average winning margin. But anyway,
Yep.
The other one, and it's in what caught our eye, but Mitchell Park, who've gone from bottom to 5th with 1 win. Yes, you lions.
Yes.
It's exciting, and it's, at least there's 4 teams who play each other down the bottom who give themselves a big chance every time they play each other.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone can win that match for sure when those 4 teams match up against each other. I'm looking at some of the other teams that are doing well. Central United and Brummer Lodge, after 5 rounds, these 2 teams are 4-1. Both probably a bit of surprise. I had Brummer Lodge as my smoky coming into the season in our preview show because I just liked some of their arrivals. They look good on paper, and it seems to be like they're gelling well. They've only lost to Elizabeth so far, so yeah, good season for Brummer Lodge.
Yeah, on that, I had Hackham versus Elizabeth in the grand final with my smoky as Central United. Would have stood by that 2 weeks ago till the exit of Blake Derra. I'm probably jumping a little bit ahead here, but they've lost Spenceley, who was a star player, and Blake Derra Hackham. Look, these things happen. Blake has spoken to us, and nothing but good things to say about Hackham, but sometimes coaching, it is a full-time job. It gets the better of you, and you need some time, you need some family time, you need to look after your own mental health. So want to wish Blake all the best in his future endeavours, and hopefully Hackham can move forward as well and be successful. So they did look like they were on a really good trajectory.
Yeah, for sure. They got their first win after he's left, so that's good as well.
Yeah.
And some more positives I just want to highlight about Hackham while we're on him. Glenn Draper, 19 goals in only 3 matches. So definitely when he's out there, it's one for the defenders, probably have sleepless nights if he's playing.
Yes. Should we have a look, mate? Have you got some goal kickers there for us?
Yeah, for sure. So some of the goal kickers so far. Stephen James from Elizabeth, 19 goals in 4 matches. Glenn Draper, as I mentioned, from Hackham, 19 goals in 3 matches. And Trent Payne from Brummer Lodge, 18 goals in 3 matches. So very similar to Draper there.
Trent Payne, he's come so far from the day where he debuted for Brummer Lodge. Must have been about 12 years ago. Cracked it at half-time, did a burnout and left the ground when his dad was the coach. I know you're sick of me telling that story, but it's always going to be funny. I'm just going to go a little bit further on that as well. Yeah. Tyson Hugo, a recruit to Central United this year, has done very well with 13 goals. And Nick Nivenson from Brummer Lodge, 13 goals. Jaden playing for England, 13 goals for the units as well. So plenty of contributors here, and these Div 7 boys love a goal. Okay, mate, let's get them up and have a real good look. And I've got an interesting anomaly. I'm going to get your tips, Jad. I'd like you to put it on the line.
Sure.
I did call you the Babe Ruth of Div 6 last year. Let's see how you go. The first one is Smithfield and Mawson Lakes. So just a little drive down Main North Road there for the Lakes boys.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one, both on that 1 and 4 record. I'll go with Mawson Lakes for that one. But Smithfield, they've not been as bad as maybe some people would have thought this year. Yeah,
and we'll just park right there and comment on that because it was all doom and gloom before the season, and they are 1 and 4. Their percentage out of the 5, and to Podsy, Leasy and the group that are putting a new Smithfield Panthers group together, well done on your win. I probably should have mentioned it when it happened, but got a chance to win your second one this year. But I'm tipping the Lakes. I agree with you on that one. Next game, please. Mitchell Park coming off a win against Brummer Lodge.
Yeah, I'll stick with Brummer Lodge, obviously 4-1 record, and we're just saying how they're going well with all their good players there.
Yeah, only kicked the 3 goals on the weekend, but too much talent in that Brummer Lodge lineup. I expect them to get the win on the wide expanses of Mitchell Park. Next one, mate, and it would have been a grand final preview, but I don't think so now. Hackham and Elizabeth.
We'll go with Elizabeth. They're undefeated for a reason, and they'll just keep on rolling. But it's not going to be an easy one. Hackham will be up for the fight, I'm sure.
It's not going to be an easy drive either. I don't see Hackham's best and fairest. It took me about 4.5 hours to get there. But I expect Elizabeth to win despite the best efforts of Luke Allen from Hackham. And Flinders University versus the units. So there's some travel this game. There's just some serious travel apart from the first game. Flinders and Central United?
Yeah, Central United again, just higher on the ladder, so going to pick them. But you never know. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it is a big trip that they've been playing. They're 4-1. They've probably exceeded our expectations, and they're going to play finals, I think. And what you'd note there, Jad, is we have tipped all 4 away teams in the league where there's the most travel. So we're probably going to get one wrong, I'd suggest, but interesting to see which one. What an interesting competition it is. Is that it for Div 7, mate?
Yeah, that's it for now. Of course, check out the other divisions down the line, but we'll be back in a few weeks' time. It'll be interesting to see where the division's at.
I think we agree. We'll probably look back and regret this. It's Elizabeth versus someone now, isn't it?
Yes, you'd think so, which is quite crazy to say. If we said this a year ago today, it would have been,
Is it Central United? Is it Brummer Lodge? Or have we written off Hackham too early? We'll find out. Thanks for joining us on the Div 7 Wrap with Jad Gosson. We'll be back in a few weeks' time. It's time for What Caught Our Eye. Oh, Darcy Schaff, some of his best work, no doubt. Starting in 7 with our Div 7 expert, Jad Gosson.
Yeah, so the obvious one for me was Elizabeth, still undefeated, of course, but what caught my eye was the stat. They've only conceded 157 points so far within the 5 rounds, so that's an average of 31.4 points a match conceded, so great defence over there, Elizabeth.
Great stat, you won't lose too many games conceding 31, Lachie.
Yeah, so just following up on the news we broke last week with Blake Derra's resignation from Hackham. It was the first win without Derra for Hackham. They beat Mawson Lakes at Mawson Lakes.
Yes, I've got a hell of a statistical anomaly. Mitchell Park, who were sitting bottom, hadn't won a game. They won their first game, a 34-point win over Flinders Uni. Now they're in the 5. How good's that? A team sitting 1 and 4 in the 5. Congratulations to Mitchell Park Lions. They've copped a bit of slack, but you know what? You keep at it, you have a win, and they would have partied like it was 1999. Well done, you Lions. Div 6, please, Mr. Gosson.
Yeah, so for Division 6, St. Paul's beating Blackfriars makes it 6 out of the 10 teams currently sitting on 3-2 record.
Wow.
So I've got a question for you guys. Is it the closest division in Australia?
I couldn't tell you about Australia, but Adelaide Footy League was. It is the one that I've said to it last when we were on. I've said last week, it's going to embarrass us because it's hard to tip and results are everywhere.
Just some massive wins for me. So O'Sullivan Beach got the job done by 161, Para Hills by 67, and Ingle Farm by 61 as well. Just some massive victories there.
Yes, Ingle Farm bouncing back, and maybe footy manager Matt Bedwood will stop being so sad. He's had a couple of losses. He got very sad lately, but get well, Benji. Return my calls. OSB 29-22, West Croydon 5-5. Riggers, you'd expect him to kick a bag. He did, kicking 9. But also worst, wasn't the worst. He kicked 7. Pardon the pun. Div 5.
Yeah, Division 5. So 2 of the teams sitting in the top 5 actually lost. So Paraka by 12 points to Salisbury, and Eastern Park losing to Marion by 110 points. So Marion on fire.
Yeah, I had that as well. Marion's still undefeated.
Yeah, they've been bullies over the last year, Eastern Park, and they came back down to earth at Dwight Reserve, as you said, 110-point win. Seb Farley, Liam Bunn, Zach Angel, the best for Marion. Tim Stewart, you mentioned him a couple of weeks ago, I reckon, I think it was one of you boys. It might have been Jack Bamwell. He kicked 5, and I'll just get the name. Jono Mitchell kicking 4. Marion Greenies undefeated. Can't wait till they meet each other. Div 4.
Yeah, for Division 4, so the first thing obviously that caught my eye was the draw, but I thought I'd go through a different route because I'm sure these boys will talk about it. Walkerville, who are first, only beat CBC by 6 points, and CBC are sitting in 8th, so nearly a big upset there.
Yeah, Walkerville nearly getting done in the end there. But draw between Mitchell and Conalite Gardens. First draw I think we've had in any division all year.
The Cardiac Cats, as I call them, they've done it again, and you mentioned it, 6 points over CBC. That's the 4th time now, a very close game. In the Mitcham Colonelite Gardens, I couldn't help but notice Harry Pride, former All-Australasian Gaelic footballer, superstar, great young kid. Well, he was young, he's not young anymore, of course, from the Footy Factory. Well done to Hazza, and an impressive performance and a really good game. Div 3, please, Jad.
Yeah, for Division 3, so all top 5 teams played bottom 5 teams, and the top 5 teams all won, so no upsets there. Could be already set the top 5 in Division 3 after 5 rounds.
And hang on. Are you calling it set, or is it could be set? Well,
yeah, it's pretty early to say, but when top 5 teams beat the bottom 5 teams, and there was, I think the closest margin was 30-something points, so it could be all set.
Early to say, he said PAC were going to make the grand final after round 1.
And also, you keep using the word could. We need a decision. Is it set or not?
Yeah, sure one.
All right. Wow, well, bad luck to the bottom 5, but I like it. Put it all on the line. Good boy, Jad. What do you got?
Pretty simple one for me. Foss Camden by 143 points versus Hope Valley. I don't know whether or not the top 5 are set, but Hope Valley are looking pretty likely to drop.
They are. That one was at the Skull Cave. The thing that stood out and caught my eye, 16 goal scorers for Foss Camden. So they share it around, and teams that share around can be very hard to stop. Division 2, please, Jad.
Yeah, so Atlas going to have 5 players in the top 18 goal scorers for after round 5. So yeah, definitely sharing the load, showing their attacking power and depth as well.
Yeah, Tea Tree Gully versus Brighton, the battle of the demoted clubs from Division 1. Tea Tree Gully getting the job done, and then just Atherton as well. 5 wins. They've been absolutely flawless all season there. Lockley's yet to get a win. Time to start moving for the Demons.
I think they might be in real trouble. Yeah, the Athelston, you've both mentioned, but it's a game and 8% clear, as good as 2 games. This is a team that might be heading back to Division 1 for the first time in a while. And they beat Uni, who beat Henley last week. So it's actually a good scalp. And last but not least, Division 1.
Yeah, Division 1, I was out there yesterday at Paynham. Unlucky not to win that one, but I did notice they've played all of the top 5 teams in the first 5 rounds, so definitely some games coming up they can try and get a few wins, but they'll need to get a win soon.
Shock 5-0, Ross Trevor. They seem to be the close win kings. They just seem to, anytime the game's close, they seem to get a win, and Broadview and Paynham still 0-5.
Yeah, good for Ross Trevor. If you want to know what caught my eye in Division 1, check out the Division 1 wrap with myself and Lachie. This has been what caught our eye for round 5. We're back next week with round 6. Welcome back to Between the Posts. It's time for the Mark of the Week. It's brought to us by Kimberley Accommodation. Thanks for your great support and a great prize. Let's have a look at this week's Marks of the Week. Welcome back to Between the Posts. It's time for the Goal of the Week. It's time for the last word, brought to you by Sapole. Thanks to all our great sponsors. Thank you to you, my man. But let's get straight into the segment we're now calling Milestones, Marriages and Mini-Me's. And I'll start us off with a huge one. How do you get to 500 games? I'm not sure, but he's done it. Stephen Hawking, not the guy in the wheelchair, but the man they call Turbo, has played 500 games for Brahma Lodge. That is simply outstanding. Well done to Stephen.
Yeah, congratulations. Running around like he's been playing midweek footy as well to get to that number.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Who you got for us, mate?
Yeah, so we've got Cody Gill, 200 games at Kilburn, a massive achievement in its own right as well.
It is outstanding. And while we're on Kilburn, just quickly, I want to shout out to all the Chicks family. The loss of Phil Martin, a club legend this week. I'm so sorry to hear it. Thoughts with Carol and the family. He was and forever will be a Kilburn legend. We'll move on to our final milestone. It is Dan Koskier from Ingle Farm playing his 150th, which gives him life membership to the league. So it is a significant milestone, mate. But we're on to marriages, mate. We've got our first one.
Yeah, we do. Were you getting married as well? Because I saw you in the photo.
11 years happily married to Katie, no, and I love this man. You know what? I'll tell you what. His name is Damien the Moose Emery, and he's got a bar named after him. And you know you've got to be bloody good to get a bar named after you. But the Moose has done it. Him and Vanessa have announced their engagement, their wedding. He also got into me. He goes, "You never mentioned Mawson Lake." So he is a Mawson Lake club legend in Jad's Division 7. Mm-hmm. So obviously we wish Moose and Vanessa all the very best, don't we?
Of course we do. They're happily engaged.
Yes, and looking forward to the engagement party coming up, where I'm going to have a couple of quiet Kieran Hayaketsus.
Oh, are they sponsoring the event as well?
I hope so. Thanks for watching, as always, every week. We appreciate your support. Lachie, take us home, please.
Yeah, and until next time, that's it from us on Between the Posts. We'll see you next week.